Yo, what is up guys, this is Astronox and I'm gonna be doing a tips and tricks video for beginners in Tap Wizard RPG Arcane Quest. So first tip is playing actively will make you progress much quicker than if you're offline. It's a massive difference, so stay active if your goal is to progress quickly. In the options, you should set your TM lags ER to 10. So to access that, just press on any icon at the bottom. I'm just gonna press on the spell book on the bottom left. Then press on the gear at the bottom left. It's the second icon. Now you see in the middle there's 5 gears. Press on the third one. The third one, so you can see the last one is TM lags ER. Mine is set to 9 because I'm really far in the game, but you should set it to 10 like this. This will make it so you cast your spells extremely quickly. That with combining a combination of spells that bypass enemy armor is extremely effective. And if you leave it to 0, the gameplay is going to be extremely slow. Another really important tip is you should level all your spells. Their passives work even if they're not equipped. So this is extremely important. You need to, when you unlock new spells with the raw spell stones from the critical raids, or if you bought them from the shop, you saved the runite and all that. I'll talk more about how to use runite optimally early on. Yeah, all the spells, they have passives. You can check my all spells and passives and augmentation video to I don't know, like make a list, let's say, of which ones you prefer to level. But yeah, they all stack. Like after you finish one mark, you work on on another mark, and you can stack your passives. But you should start to level your spells like evenly, because the higher they get, the harder it is, the more XP they need, the more time it will take. So level your spells like equally if you feel the passives are good for you, for your build, and of course, like, level whichever spell you're gonna use primarily, like focus more on those, but the rest, level those passives. Really important. You should save your runites to unlock the assistants. So to do that, this one never got in it. You go in the shop at the bottom right, press the big bag with the string. Now that's the shop. The assistant is in the middle. It's the guy with the big bag. So these are the assistants. There are 3. First one I preferred. If you're playing actively, this guy, I mean, yeah, let's say you're playing actively, you're not looking at the screen every second. You might be watching TV, doing something, studying, you know. So this guy will make sure that all the stable runes that pop on the screen, he will pick them up. He can carry up to 5. And when you upgrade him to level 2, so initially it's 500, and then when you upgrade it to level 2, it's 500 again, so 1000 to have him maxed. All of them, it's the same thing. It's 500 level 1, 500 level 2. And second time he will pick up rune caches, and those have some amazing runes inside. So he's really nice. And then I went with imitating Ivan because he makes the 5th spell and your loadout, he increased it by plus 20% XP. Initially it's like plus 10% XP on the first level, and then it's plus 20% XP. So that spell is usually, you see the 5th spell, Spark, it's gaining 25%. The percentage you see under the spell is how much spell experience it will receive per second. So first 100, then 50, then 25, then 10, then it's 5. But now because of him, it's 25. Really good. The spell XP you get per second is when you go in. I'll show you how to access this page, but you see a bit higher than in the middle spell XP rate, active and idle. The active is 900 per second for me. The idle is 46.9 per second. You have like much lower than this. If you're starting, you'll have the default. When you start, it's like 100 per second. The active, and the idle is 5 per second. It's 20 times. About 20 times lower from what I remember. So yeah, those rates. You access this page with this thing here. You see what I'm moving? This page. Just press it. And wow, this boss taking forever. I will just recall. So basically, in the assistance, yes, the contribution for the spells, the first one is 100%, then 50, then 25, then 10, and then the 5th one is usually 5. It's not, by default it's 5, but because of him it becomes 25%, which is 5 times higher. And her, well, she cast a random spell from your loadout every 5 seconds. You can use her for a build like put a bunch of spells with a high cooldown and bring your TM lags ER to 0, so you'll have the base cooldown on each spell, and have like, and you can have her help you with let's say you're running 5 elementals. Well, their cooldown is like, what is it, 25 second, 30 second base. Well, she's gonna cast one every 5 seconds. So you could do something like that, but it's not my cup of tea. Like, I prefer bypass armor spells. So yeah, that's it for the assistant. You can either start with him first, which is what I did and what I prefer, and then you can either do him or her, but I recommend him. Also, he will increase the cast speed of the 5th spell in your loadout by he's not gonna increase it, sorry, he will cast it at half the cast speed that you have. So right now I have Spark, so he's casting Spark as well, and it's helping the spell to the left trigger more often. But you can check my other videos to see what Spark does and what all the spell do. Check my spell guide video. So another tip, yeah, of course, do your critical raids every day. It's so important. Like, it doesn't take much. Like, early on maybe it will take you 5 minutes, you might have to recall a couple times to complete the critical raid, but most of the time the critical raid is quite easy. For me, it's just I just breeze through it and kill everything. I finish it in a couple seconds. Another tip, try to do your raid when ready. Every time your raid is ready, there's a cooldown. When I started the video, it was 30 minutes. I did the raid, so yeah, now it's 24 minutes. But yeah, every 30 minutes, just log in the game, do your raid, and if you don't have time, just close the game. But at least you're doing your raid, and the reason you want to do your raids is because you get between 1 and 12 Runites every time you complete that raid. Most of the time it's going to be, of course, not going to be 12, but it's possible to get 12. And you can use stable rune like the Sense Danger to reduce the cooldown on your raids. Raids are good too to farm farm power. So yeah, if you, it's always good. You can farm a good amount of power and recall. You can even force like recall and not kill the boss. You know, if you get a bunch of power, let's say you get 10% power, which is good early on, 10-15% power. You get between, let's say, 5 and 15% power early on when you do a push, mostly around 5%, depend where you are in the game. But you can just repeat that and like do it in a couple seconds and press like recall, press just the top right, and just do that and avoid killing the boss. That's one way to farm power. You can do it for a bit, but don't like spend like a while doing that, like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. You're gonna waste your time. You should just push in the wild. You'll get more power that way. Okay, well, when there's a chest that pops up on the right, where like it did at the start of the video, you should watch the ad. It's the first button at the top. I forgot what it's called. Force, maybe? I did Brute. Brute just gives you one of the item that's inside. But you want to watch the ad because you get 2 Rune Knights every time. You also get like a healing spell, a death ray, that this one, death ray, instantly kills an entire squad. Get this rejuvenation, Jesus, 100% healing on that take, and it automatically starts a quality 4 spell, so that's useful for 3 minutes. Early on, it can be quite useful depending on which one you get. Of course, like the lower your TM lags ER is, the more effective those spells are gonna be, because they're gonna do more damage every time they cast, and having a higher TM lags ER just lowers the damage you do per hit on your spells. But these stable runes or unstable runes, they will happen every 5 seconds no matter what. So, well, depending on which one. This 5 second, the quality 5, 5 second, quality 3. But then, yeah, here 5 second as well for quality 3. Wait, I thought... Anyways, I thought some of them had different cooldowns depending on their quality. I think some have, but anyways. Next tip. So yeah, pop those chests on the right when you see them, and watch the ad. So you should test different loadouts with all the spells that you have. You will not have all the spells when you start unless you spend money. You know, all the 30 spells in the game. You should definitely play around with them, try different combination, check their passive, and level them evenly for the passive. Move them in the position in your loadout. Like the more you put them to the left, the more experience they're gonna get. So they're gonna level quicker. And yeah, play around, try to find combination. Inferno with Ice Wall is game breaking good, I'd say. Using Spark to speed them up is like, for me, it's top damage, and one of the is really good survival as well because of Ice Wall. Anyways, moving on. You should enchant often and stay active while enchanting to dramatically lower the time it takes to reclaim all your power. Enchanting is one of the most important feature in the game that you have to do properly. Do not wait too long to enchant. If you feel like the game is slowing down and you're hitting like a wall, that means you need to enchant, or you should have enchanted before. You waited too long if you're stuck. If you feel like your power gain per run is too low, let's say 5% and lower, that means you need to enchant. So work on that. And when you're actively playing while enchanting, the time that you see, let's say it's 10 hours, let's say when you start it's like, I don't know, 1 hour, 2 hours, then 5, 10, 15, 20 hours. Well, when you play actively, this is like cut by like 5, 8 time, 10 time, depending on how active, how strong you are. So yeah. Enchant often and stay active if possible. If not, stay active at the start of the enchantment process, and then like go sleep, go do your thing with the game closed. When you come back, the enchant is done and you're good to go. You can push further. You should save high quality stable runes for later. I mean, I've been saving them forever, but you see all these quality 5, orange, the blue ones. Just save them for later. If you're starting the game, there's no point really to use them early on. I mean, you could use them. I mean, I'm not the one that can really give advice here, because I've been stacking them for when it's for later. I'm just gonna like pop so many at the same time, and I want to do it optimally. I felt like I did not need to use them before because I was progressing at a good pace. So yeah, it's just the quality 1 and 2 and some 3, quality 3 runes, stable runes you can just use to help you out. But quality 4 and like 5, you probably should wait for like when you're ready to like sit down and play actively, like really actively for a long time. Then you can use them to progress like faster. But don't use them like early on, the high quality ones. I feel like it's gonna be a waste. Also, you should turn on the spell transparency in the options so you can properly see the health of the monsters behind. Like you can see right now, I'm almost having a hard time to see their health bars, because like Inferno and Ice Wall are triggering toxic gases, explosions, the green gases that you see. They're like triggered multiple times per second, and if I don't have spell transparency turned on to 0.2, I cannot see their health. So you go in the options, press the gear at the bottom left after pressing any icon at the bottom, and go on the 4th gear, spell transparency. So mine is X 0.2. That's the normal one. Can you see the health bars for the monsters in front? I mean, I don't see them. So 0.8, you know, it's not much better. 0.6. Well, now I'm dead, but even 0.6 is just triggering so fast. But if your cast speed is low, you won't really have that issue. You'll see the health bars. Depends on which spell you're using as well. But Inferno is Inferno with like any spell that freezes the monsters to trigger the toxic gas. It's gonna make some problems for you, like to just see their health bars. Like if you're stuck, the monster is not taking any damage, you're like, yeah, I might just recall now. If the monster is regenerating health too quickly and you cannot kill him, you need to see it so you can react, pop like a stable rune, change your spells around. So, I mean, you can see it with this. You can see it with 0.6. But anyways, I'm putting it at 0.2. So yeah, those are the tips for you guys when you're starting. When you're starting too and your cast speed is low, all the runes that pop up, they're nice. Like the -1 second cooldown, they will help you out. You're not gonna have a cast speed like me. The most important one that pops on the screen is the one that gives you 10-second, this one, 10-second worth of experience. That one is the most important one on the screen that can pop up, because spell experience always stays with you. Whatever spell experience you gain on all your spells, you will retain them through meditation, you will retain them through New Game Plus modes. So you can be New Game Plus, you start, like all that XP, you never lose it, but you will lose when you do meditation, you will lose your power, your gold, I mean all the research that you did in that where you're like in the current run, let's say, not recall, I mean between like meditation 0 and 1, whatever you got, like whatever research you've done, you will lose those. You have to restart, but it gets easier and faster every time you meditate, even though you have to progress a bit further every time. It does get easier because those passive from your spells that you keep on leveling are making a pretty massive difference. It might not seem like much, but trust me, over time they make a massive difference. So yeah, your stable runes, you will keep them. Your items you keep, the keys, the runite you keep when you meditate. Your spell XP, of course, like all the experience accumulated into the spell, and the augmentation, the passive you unlocked, and even through New Game Plus, you retain those. So yeah, for tips, what was it again? It's like, if your run is like slowing down, like you're fighting a monster that keeps on regenerating and you cannot kill him, you need to recall. You need to recall, or if you really want to go through, use a death ray on him. The death ray quality 2, you can just target the monster, you just drag it onto the monster and it will kill that target. You unlock that feature after like maybe when you start the game, after wild zone maybe 20-ish, something like that. And yeah, don't burn the quality 3 ones that kill the entire squad if you only want to kill one unit. So I think that's gonna be it for the tips and tricks video for beginners. I'll do another part later when I think about more stuff that can help you guys out. Also in here, you should always have in the temple floor 1. I think you need to do your first meditation to unlock the temple floors. Yeah. You need to do your first meditation, but when you do, you should have this rumination running all the time. It's quite important. It's cheap to run. It costs like 100 first time, 200 second time, and 400. It doubles up every time. It's like 6 hour, 12 hour, 24 hours. Then you add like something like that. Wait, increase your XP. Okay, I'm wrong. It's like I've done it 100, 200, 400. 3 hour. I thought it was 6 hour, and then it's always plus 12 maybe. Something like that. Also the accelerated learning here to increase your research by 50% for 15 minutes. When you're playing actively, it's nice. The other ones are more for to push through things. Increasing gold, I don't really care too much about it. I'm working on building up passive. Like you see this guy's regenerating. Can put amber spell because it makes their healing 50% less effective. It was nerfed. It was actually preventing completely the monster from regenerating health. It was nerfed recently. Anyways, this guy's quite annoying. So yeah, check out my other videos for different guides. You can learn quite a bit, or if you feel like figuring things out by yourself, well, maybe you will never see this video, or you prefer not spoiling things. But I mean, I don't think I've spoiled too much. There's the meditation and the New Game Plus, but it's good to know that there's more content later on. You're not just playing and then you're done with the game after let's say a couple days. This game you can play on forever if you want, and I'm enjoying it a lot, and I'm trying to think about other tips. I've been saving my dungeon keys. You can just, if you want to do an active session, you can just pop those. back to back if you feel like it. You get buffs on the side when you do dungeons. Right now I got a reclamation rate 100% increase and XP by casting runes 50% increase. So they last 2 hours. The lantern, when you get it, it will auto recall for you. Recall the wizard after 1 minute in the recall bubble. So if you die, you're in the recall bubble for a minute, or yeah, after 1 minute inside the recall bubble, it recall for you automatically until you reach the maximum offline power gain. Oh wait, max offline power gain. No, it will recall for you a couple times, then you will get less power when you are recalling that way, and there will be a 1 minute timer every time you die for it to trigger, and then the spell XP idle debuff will pop up after a couple minutes if you're not active, and that you don't want that. You don't want that because you need that. You need that active spell XP rate going on. It's too strong. It's too strong. So I think the idle rate's like 25 times actually lower than the active. Right now it seems like it's almost it's like 19 times, but it's because I have the rumination in the temple floor one. Anyways, I've been dragging this on for too long now. So yeah, guys. Oh yeah, when the assistant here, the knee-high Nick, picks up runes or cash, he appears on the right side. You just press him and collect. So if you're like not paying attention 100% to the game and you're doing other things, just press on him when you unlock him, so he does not get full and keeps on picking up the good stuff. And yeah, I mean, this is a beginner tips guide. I mean, tips and trick video. So I'm just gonna make a new one for not for beginner, let's say, and get more info in there for you guys later on. All right. And also, yes, last tip, if you're still listening, go in the options, and I mean, these are my options. If you want to set them the same way, well, go ahead and do that. You see the tracking type, it's per second. That's the best to keep track of your spells. You should have it set that way. So okay, these are the other options. Because on top of the spells, you see how much damage it does, the contribution of each spell. So yeah, really important, so you can test things out. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'm Astronox, and if you like this video, hit the like button, leave me a comment about what you think about the video. If you have any other tips, I should add another video, and subscribe for more. Hit the bell icon if you want to be notified when I release new videos. Alright, peace out for now.